Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone around the world. I'm your favorite friendly neighborhood beard bro, Mr. Kennedy, coming back from the gym after a very rainy morning, very rainy night. It's been raining all week. It's been raining all month. Welcome to hurricane season in Florida, where we have two gears. It's either too damn hot or it's too damn rainy. Pick your poison. And I'm sure here in the state of Florida, a lot of parents are very excited because their kids went back to school today. Huzzah! And I'm sure that a lot of those back to school photos have a lot of kids frowning up because they didn't want to go back. Oh well, I remember those days, man. My father loves us, but he couldn't wait for us to go back to school. I know that. I hope everyone had a good morning and a good weekend. This is episode 7 of the Mr. VG podcast. I have a lot of news for you guys today, starting off with something that doesn't even surprise me because I talked about how much of a flop that this was in the last episode. Anyone that was holding out hope that there would somehow be a Star Wars Outlaw sequel, it's dead and gone, folks. Ubisoft themselves said that the game was such a flop and they lost so much money that it canceled any plans that they had to do a sequel. This comes from the gaming journalist and insider Tom Henderson. A sequel to the Star Wars Outlaws game was canceled recently. He noted that the game never entered full production and it was at its very, very early stages of development. But it was something that Ubisoft had planned. Nothing was said about what exactly the Star Wars Outlaws would have entailed, but Ubisoft also likely hadn't figured out too much because it was in its super early pre-productions. The story would have presumably continued where Outlaws left off, but it seems like it will remain a standalone game for the foreseeable future. Star Wars Outlaws is going to be released on the Nintendo Switch later on this year, but Ubisoft said that doesn't expect to see any increases in sales or any splashes or anything like that. So if you're the type of gamer that was holding out all hope that there would be a sequel, it ain't happening, Captain. And I've seen the petitions out there of these fans trying to get the game back into production, but I think that Ubisoft should just cut their losses. I mean, this is an L. This is an L that they took. It is what it is. A new Friday the 13th game, a new Hellraiser game, and a new Friday the 13th movie are on the way. There is no release date, but it has been announced. We're going to talk about the Friday the 13th game first. This comes from Horror Inc. Robbie Barsamian, who was at the San Diego Comic-Con. I can tell you that a new sequel and a new game are on the top of our list. It's where most of our energy is going right now. And I can finally tell you we're in a position to deliver on that. I love the Friday the 13th series. Jason Voorhees is my favorite slasher, period. For those of y'all who have played Dead by Daylight, it's connected to the Hellraiser stuff too. You notice that they removed the Hellraiser chapter. This is why, because for the very first time, and I can't even believe it, for the very first time, this is the very first Hellraiser game ever made. I cannot believe that over all the consoles and the PCs that we've had in handhelds, that there has never been a Hellraiser game, not even on the Atari 2600. That's crazy. And it's also going to have the legendary Doug Bradley returning as Pinhead. The legend himself. This is awesome. The first ever Hellraiser game is in development as a single-player survival horror action release, with the team behind it all promising the chance to experience the infamous series like never before. It is coming from Saber Interactive and Boss Team Games and will, of course, pit players against Pinhead. For fans of the series, the upcoming game, known as Clive Barker's Hellraiser revival, will also see actor Doug Bradley returning to the role for the first time in nearly 2 decades as Pinhead. That is so awesome, man. Oh, man. Yo, it's crazy to me. And for those of y'all, Saber Interactive, if you played the World War Z game, that's them. I got faith in these guys because World War Z is a fucking awesome game. And I know that they'll treat that series well. The only thing that I have to say here is I just hope that they don't lift what Dead by Daylight is doing. I hope it's just not a clone of that. You know what I mean? It did say it was going to be a single player for Hellraiser. I don't know what the Friday the 13th game is going to be, but I just hope that they do something creative, something out of the box. And I think that it is a crime. I'm going to say this because I say this when it comes to Dead by Daylight. It is a crime that you have a game with some of the most iconic slashers, Chucky, Freddy Krueger, Ghostface, Pyramid Head, and not Jason Voorhees. It will never be a complete game without Jason in it. And I'm aware of all of the licensing issues and stuff that they're having, and that sucks. But you know, the Trapper is not Jason. He's a Timu version. Everybody keeps saying that. Well, if we got the Trapper, he's kind of like Jason. No, he's not. He's like Jason Stand-in or something like that, like a freaking stunt double or something. Don't compare that guy to Jason Voorhees. And I'm doing a tier list soon. Very, very soon. I'm working on it. Cheap plug here. I'm doing a tier list on all of the Friday the 13th movies. That's going to be a lot of fun because I saw all of them. Some good, some okay, some absolutely terrible. We'll get to that when we get to that. But I am excited to hear about that. I did not get a chance to play the other Friday the 13th game because by the time I got to it, the servers were already down. So you can't even play it really. So you have to go all the way back to the Nintendo Entertainment System with that piece of shit that we had back then. That Friday the 13th, absolute dog shit. That game was garbage. But I am excited. Let's move on here. We got another article on layoffs, and this time it is IGN who was affected. Now, before I get started, it's nothing that is astronomical like Microsoft was. They gutted their whole divisions. But it's noticeable. It says Ziff Davis owned IGN Entertainment has laid off staff, including 8 members of its IGN Creators Guild. Those cuts represent 12% of the bargaining unit. The layoffs are the latest shift in a turbulent gaming media landscape. Earlier this year, Verge parent company Vox Media sold Polygon to GameRant owner Valnet. Giant Bomb went independent, and Game Informer has returned after being shut down by GameStop. Laid off IGN staffers include former senior features editor Matt Kim and video editor Chelsea Miller, but no single department was primarily targeted by the cuts. Rebecca Valentine, IGN senior reporter and co-chair of the guild, tells The Verge it was largely single individuals from different departments. This is what she had to say. The company had told us that the reason for the layoff stemmed from a Ziff Davis mandate to cut costs despite several quarters in a row of year-over-year revenue increases to increase IGN's entertainment, responding by coming for our members' jobs, the guild said. So they're trimming the fat. Now, it's not anywhere near what Microsoft did. They cut 9,000 of their people. Like, come on, man. It'll never be that bad. But even still, it just sucks. You know, it sucks that a lot of people are losing their jobs. But at the end of the day, as I keep saying, it is a company, and a company's job is to make revenue and to keep their shareholders happy. That is the main objective of any company. And sometimes you're going to see a lot of people's heads on the chopping block. It is what it is. I'm sorry to have to say it like that. The shareholders come first, then the company, then the people that work for the company, the ones that keep the machine running, they're last. And that sucks, but that's just how it is. So every time I turn around, there's cuts here, cuts there. The pandemic, they hired so many people, as I said before, they got to trim the fat. And they're going to continue to trim the fat until they get rid of people they don't need. All the people that they don't need. Anyways, though, let's move on to Sony, because I got some news with them. Sony has been going through a lot as of late. We got 2 lawsuits, one I'm about to mention here. And then we got their hands in a whole bunch of things in terms of absorbing companies and investments. Let's get on with this. Sony is suing Tencent over its slavish clone of the Horizon video game franchise. A lawsuit by Sony claims that Tencent is ripping off the Horizon Zero Dawn after the company originally wanted to make its own game set in Asia. Last November, Chinese conglomerate Tencent also announced a brand new survival game for the PC called Light of Mortaram. Mortaram, I think that's how that's pronounced. One that you will play with friends as you explore a post-apocalyptic world populated by animal-like machines. The game's announcements quickly went viral, not because it looked any good, but because it looked an awful lot like Sony's Horizon Zero Dawn and its sequel. Now, I did get a look at the screenshots of what Light of Mortaram looks like, and even though the graphics are not as great, it does look a lot like the Horizon Zero Dawn series. Even the main character is dressed like Aloy, which is the main character from Horizon. So I'm kind of with Sony on this. This is more details on it. Per a lawsuit filed on July 25th in the U.S. District Courts for the Northern District of California, Sony Interactive Entertainment is alleging Tencent's upcoming game of Light of Mortaram is a slavish clone of the Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. PlayStation says it is seeking to prevent the imminent release of Light of Mortaram, and it also says it is so blatant that the public described it as crazy and insane and shameless. Tencent also used a ripoff of the iconic Horizon main character Aloy as its centerpiece as its pre-release marketing and promotional strategies, deliberately causing numerous game lovers to confuse the game Light of Mortaram as the next game in the Horizon series. The lawsuit requests statutory damages of $150,000 for each separate work in the Horizon franchise infringed, or the SIE's actual damages sustained as a result of defendant's act of copyright infringements, as well as monetary damages. Like I said, I did get a good look at the game, the screenshots. It does look awfully a lot like the Horizon Zero Dawn. So even the plot that they described sounds like it. This is what Tencent had. They described the game as followed. In a world overrun by colossal machines, explore a vast open world, build your base operations, advanced technologies, train mech animals, and take on formidable bosses. Starting from a primitive age, forge a new path of development, defy the machinations, survive the mech animals. So basically, that's Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, they're not even trying to hide it. Like, come on, man. At least try to fool people. Like, they're not even hiding that they're copying the game. Like, come on now. I think Sony's gonna win this one, and this is on top of. It's convenient that this comes at a time where Sony is being sued for being sued by gamers for monopolizing the digital games that they were doing, allegedly sending cease and desist to local gaming stores, telling them not to sell any digital media from Sony, like games and stuff like that, forcing players to only have to buy through Sony, in which they can increase the games any way they see fit. So This might be a way for Sony to recuperate some of those damages. But come on, man. This is like, again, Tencent's not even trying to hide it. It's not even they're the first company that ever did that. Like, how many games have been lifted from other games? Like, even Genshin Impact. Come on, there are games that game copied, and then games copied after that. And Fortnite too. Like, it's been done before. Hard to believe in this day and age anybody doing anything original, because everything's been done. Bandai Namco. This one is an old story, but they're now just being able to talk about it now, which is good because they couldn't talk about it for a couple of years. This one is an interesting story. A former Bandai Namco employee allegedly embezzled so much money, executives had to take a pay cut. This article was posted July 30th, so it wasn't even that long ago. Between 2021 and 2023, a former employee at one of the game publishers Bandai Namco subsidiaries allegedly misappropriated around 500 million yen, which is approximately 3.38 million US dollars. That's a lot of money, resulting in the employee's arrest and temporary pay cut of many of the subsidiaries' leadership within the company. While the arrest happened January 2024, and Bandai Namco has since been pursuing civil and criminal charges against the former employee, the company is now able to disclose the incident according to the press release outlining the alleged misconduct and the steps that it is taking to remedy the situation. This is the pay deductions that they had to take. Former officers and 3 full-time directors saw a 30% pay deduction for 3 months starting in April 2024, with 2 other full-time directors seeing a 15% pay deduction for the same period. This is what they had to say. Our group takes the occurrence of this incident very seriously, and we sincerely, deeply apologize to our stakeholders for their concerns and the inconvenience caused by such an incident. We will continue our full cooperation with the local law enforcement authorities for the investigation, and we as a group shall work together to prevent the reoccurrence of such incidents. I don't know how this person was able to steal all of that money right out from under their noses when you have accountants. You mean to tell me that nobody caught this? That money was disappearing? That's just crazy to me. I find that hard to believe. But it is admirable that the people at the top agreed to take a pay cut rather than just firing everybody like all these other companies are doing. But it looks like Sony is going to save their asses, because just as much as they lost that money there, we have a report that Sony has invested approximately $460 million. Let me say that again. $460 million to acquire 2.5% stake in Bandai Namco, forming a strategy partnership aimed at expanding their collaboration in the entertainment sector. Bandai Namco and Sony have historically collaborated on various projects in the fields such as games, anime, and music, and they plan to extend this collaboration to a broader range of areas. The two companies intend to implement initiatives including the expansion of works as well as products and services based on IP developments by Bandai Namco, leveraging and Sony's strengths in the area such as production and distribution of anime and other video contents, as well as merchandising. Along with that, it's not just that. They also have a stake in the Elden Ring series and From Software. So they saw an opportunity to go in there and grab one of the most popular games that we have right now. Sony is got a plan going. Like, I've seen stuff like this. We've seen it with TLC. I'm not TLC. I was about to say, the company that owns WWE and UFC. This is a strategic plan. Sony is planning to take over and absorb a lot of these sectors and a lot of these companies. Don't be surprised. Yo, they got their hands in a lot of cookie jars. They got their hands in a lot of stuff right now. Now, they're also looking to absorb Marathon Studios, Bungie, whichever. After 3 years, Sony's costly $3.6 billion acquisition of the video game studio Bungie, the PlayStation parent company, is changing its tune regarding the subsidiary's independence. Sony's chief financial officer, Lin Tao, detailed the company's journey ahead of the company's August 7th earnings call. Sony's group corporations shareholders in attendance also raised questions about the state of Bungie's contingent's first-person shooter marathon. Sorry, I tripped on my words there. My bad. I'm tired. Give me a break. This is what they had to say. The governance at the time of the acquisition, we were offering a very independent environment. So that was one way of thinking. However, thereafter, we have gone through a structural reform as we have announced last year. So from this type of independence, this independence is getting lighter. So Bungie is shifting into a role which is becoming more part of PlayStation Studio, and integration is also proceeding. So in the long term, if you can see this as an ongoing process, the direction is to become part of PlayStation Studios. So there you go. He point blank said that they're going to absorb Marathon and Bungie. Like, it's just going to become part of the Sony machine. That's what he basically said. He said that the independence is getting lighter, which means they're going to be less of an independent company. They're going to be less able to do whatever the hell that they were doing. And they're going to have to be under the Sony umbrella. Now, whether it's good news, whether it's bad news, you got me. You know, I never really played a lot of their games anyways, but I just deliver the news, folks. But it looks like Sony's looking to reincorporate to get some of the money that they lost in this lawsuit that they're having right here that I just mentioned. They know what they're doing, man. They know what they're doing. It's Sony's strategic plan. Don't be surprised when I start reporting more companies being absorbed. Partnership my ass. It's just like the WWE TNA stuff. The WWE, they bought AAA. These guys are looking to take over the wrestling world. It's gonna happen, folks. Sony is the sharks in the water. They're like, oh, we're gonna be a partnership, and then one day we're gonna swallow them whole. We will take over Bandai Namco, and we will be the most powerful Megazord in the world. Oh man, I'm being stupid, man. I'm hyper today. You know, anyways, though. Moving on. If you are a fan of Genshin Impact and you're a PlayStation 4 player, I got some bad news for you. Looks like MiHoYo has announced that it will be winding down PlayStation 4 support for Genshin Impact, its most popular multiplayer fantasy action RPG, within the next 8 months. Now, if you remember, Genshin Impact started off on mobile, and the very first console that it went to was PS4. So there have been a lot of people playing that game since then. And it just sucks that had to happen, but this is what it looks like. Next in the game, it says PS4 purchases on the PlayStation Store and in-game shop will be disabled February 25th, 2026. Items purchased on the PSN before this date, but not yet claimed in the game, will still be obtained, however. Lastly, April 8th of 2026, MiHoYo will cease all support for Genshin Impact on PS4. Players will be unable to log in, and the game will not receive any more updates and and all unclaimed items purchased on the PlayStation Store will become obtainable by logging into the PlayStation 5 version. The PlayStation 5 version of Genshin Impact will be unaffected by this development, and the game's support cross progression, making it easier to transition to other platforms. The game remains playable on all the PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, and all of mobile. So at least you have that. That's cool because I talked about this about the last game. I forget what game it was. In the last show, where they said they're gonna revamp the game and you're gonna lose all of the stuff that you bought and you're gonna have to start all over again. So at least for players who have the money to go buy a new console, if you don't have a PS5 by now, if you don't have an Xbox One, you can still move on to the game and still have all of your stuff that you bought. But for some people who can't afford a new console, and let's be real, in this day and age in the economy, these consoles are very expensive. A lot of people can't even afford to eat these days, let alone spend $700-800 on a PS5. So a lot of people, all they have is the PS4, and that sucks that they're no longer going to be able to play that on there. Now they could turn to mobile, but who wants to do that? You can play on tablet. Who wants to do that? And it just sucks that a lot of those people are going to lose support for that. It is what it is. And that's it for the Sony part. Let's move on to Nintendo. Let's get that up here. Not too much news on the Nintendo front because, it really isn't anything special that's going on right now. But I will say this because I have to say this. The Ninja Gaiden Rage Bound is coming out for the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2 as well as other consoles. Great, I already talked about that, right? The problem that I have with it is that if you have the Nintendo Switch 1 like I have over there, I have the OLED version, it's going to run at 30 frames per second. And all of the console versions, including PC, it's going to run at 60 frames. Are we stuck in 20 years ago? Like, we literally have consoles, both the PS5 and the Xbox One. I mean, it's questionable, but they run at 120 FPS. PC runs at 120 FPS and up. The Switch 2 version, I don't know if that's going to run 60 frames because they were very vague on that. But can we please move past this 30 frames bullshit and 60 frame shit? The game consoles and PC, they're more than powerful enough to handle 120 FPS. Give me a fucking break. And it's not like this game is graphically that powerful that it can't run. It's a side scroller. You mean to tell me that game can't run at 120 FPS or something close to that? 30 FPS? Come on now. I have a problem with that. This is what they had to say. The Nintendo Switch 1 version will average at 30 frames per second at launch. The Switch 2 will benefit from the console specs. In other words, they didn't tell us shit. They weren't sure what the hell is going to happen or how it's going to run. They don't know. They didn't give us any details. The other platforms, the PC, the Steam Deck, the PS5, PS4, and Xbox Series will run at a solid 60 FPS. That's bullshit, dude. I'm never the type of guy that really complains about graphics and stuff like that in FPS, but come on now. Like back there, I have on this PC here, I have World War Z. I also have the Nintendo Switch version of World War Z. And I went back to play that. It's like night and day. Now, I'm not talking about graphically because we know PC looks better than any damn thing out here. That goes without saying. But as slow as that game is, it's slow as hell. I felt like I was playing underwater. Compared to the PC version, which is 120 FPS, that's 30. I can't play like that. I mean, once you get past 60 frames, man, you can't go back. And I just really wish that they would do away with this shit. I'm so tired of this slow shit already. Let's move on past it. The Nintendo Direct happened in July. At the end of July, they announced a lot of games, with one game being omitted. One game that pissed off a lot of fans, and we'll get to that as soon as I get done with this list here. This is the games that they're going to come out with. Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflections, that's next year. Once Upon a Katamari, that's coming out October 24th, 2025. Just Dance 2026, who cares? Am I the only person that never liked the Just Dance bullshit? I don't give a fuck about that. Like, I really don't. But for those of y'all who like it, October 14th, 2025. Dragon Ball fans, rejoice. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, November 14th, 2025. That is an excellent game. Oh, man. I love playing that game. Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, October 23rd, 2025. EA Sports FC 26, which I believe is UFC. I think they did a typo here. September 26th, 2025. Pac-Man World Repacked, a new Pac-Man game. Wow. Awesome. September 26th, 2025. Final Fantasy Tactics, The Evilise Chronicles, September 30th, 2025. Persona 3 Reloaded, October 23rd, 2025. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, winter 2025, early 2026. They didn't give an actual date. Madden NFL 2026, August 14th, 2025. So that's very, very soon. Chilling by the Fire is available now. Apex Legends, who cares? But if you're a fan of that, that already came out August 5th, 2025. Hella, which is 2026. Star Wars Outlaws, September 4th, 2025. I just mentioned that. Chronos, The New Dawn, September 5th, 2025. Yakuza, Kiwami and Kiwami 2, November 13th, 2025. Great series. Great series. Goodnight Universe, November 11th, 2025. NBA Bounce, September 26th, 2025. Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Wheat Flower Wonderland. Oh my God, that's Kitty right there. But that's coming out in fall 2025. Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven. Oh my God. If you played the Dynasty Warriors and stuff like that, this is like, kind of like that. It's not the same, but it's kind of like how the old Dynasty Warriors used to be, like when it was like very story driven and not just hacking, slashing, and beating the shit out of everything. It's kind of like that. Shinobi Art of Vengeance, August 29th, 2022. The demo's available now. I will see if I can get that on my Switch later and give my thoughts. Borderlands 4, October 3rd, 2025. And The Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales 2026. Octopath Traveler 0, December 4th, 2025. So those are all the games that were announced. Now, if you notice, there is one that they did not mention, and that is Metroid Prime 4, but like Beyond. That game has been delayed again. And the fans are pissed. They're so pissed that Nintendo actually had to say something about it. Nintendo has reaffirmed that Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is still on track for 2025, but it does not have the exact release date. It will be released on the Switch 1 and Switch 2. A lot of fans, when they saw that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct, they assumed, like I did, that they were going to be announcing the game for the Direct at this time. So they said 2025. That can be September, that could be October, that could be November, that could be December. We don't know. But the fans are tired of being dick teased, man, already. Like the fans, y'all been teasing us about this for like what, 2 years now? Give us something. Now they're saying that the Metroid Prime 4 demo is being released in Canada and on August 21st and August 24th. Huzzah, fine, whatever. Fan Expo will feature upcoming games like Metroid Prime Beyond available later on in 2025, stated Nintendo. And that's, to me, excuse me, that is just bullshit, man. Either put the game out or don't. Are you having problems in production? Is that what it is? If you're having problems, then just let us know what's going on. Don't just leave the fan base in the dark. That's what I have a problem with. It's fine that you got to take your time on the game and make sure that it works right, because they take pride in their Metroid games. I play the shit out of Metroid Dread every damn day over there. Y'all see me playing on stream. I play Super Metroid, which is my favorite game of all time. They take pride in that series. Stop teasing us. Give us something, man. Give us something to go off of. Don't be like, the Prince of Persia Sands of Time bullshit where they just gave us a screenshot and said nothing else about it in 3 years. Give me a break. If you are a Battlefield 6 fan, it is stated that it won't run on the Steam Deck, and there are no plans to release it on the Nintendo Switch 2, one of the EA executives have said. According to the EA executive vice president, Vince Zampella, who verified the lack of Steam support in an interview at PC Games In and the Battlefield 6 multiplayer revealed event. When he was asked about it, this is what he had to say. It does not run on the Steam Deck. I think there are some non-Steam Deck handheld platforms that it will probably work on, right? But I don't think it's probably the best way to play the game. In terms of the Nintendo Switch 2, Zampella also confirmed that EA doesn't have any current plans to bring Battlefield 6 to the latest console. So he's not even sure if the game will even run on other handheld consoles. So if you're a fan of the Steam Deck, which a lot of people are, I want to get one of those, and you want to play Battlefield 6, I don't give a fuck about that. I just report the news. Then you're going to be disappointed. But there are no plans right now. As for the Nintendo Switch 2, I didn't expect that. But they are coming out with, more powerful games. Like I said, Street Fighter 6 is on there, and it looks great. I'm going to be honest, it looks really, really good. I'm not going to lie to you on that. So, if you are excited about that, then it's going to be bad. I'm sorry, not excited. If you're disappointed by that, I'm sorry. Don't shoot the messenger. And that's it for the Nintendo part. Let's move on to Xbox in the very last section. At a time where they gutted their whole division, and I'm going to keep raking them over the coals for that one, Microsoft has announced that the Xbox Game Pass has made almost $5 billion as Microsoft reports massive growth. They're trolling people, man. Microsoft has announced that the Game Pass has hit almost $5 billion in revenue over the last fiscal year, with 500 million active users. In fact, the whole of Microsoft has just reported annual revenue of $76.4 billion, up to 18% on the previous year. These figures are being announced less than a month after the company fired 9,000 employees, and in the year it shuttered multiple game studios. Microsoft's latest K10 filings describe just how much money is spilling out of the top story windows of Microsoft HQ. Gaming revenue for the company grew 9% on the previous year, adding another $2 billion, driven by growth of Xbox content and services offset by the decline of the Xbox hardware. Even with Even with falling console sales down to 25%, Microsoft saw a colossal increase of its gaming. And in the same year, it chose to cancel multiple gaming projects, closing down multiple studios and laying off thousands of employees. The document didn't feel the need to mention all of the closures in its celebration of its operating income of 34.3 billion. And instead, it stated, we will continue to invest in the gaming studios and content to expand our intellectual property roadmap and leverage new content creators. These unique gaming experiences are our cornerstones of the Xbox Game Pass, a subscription service and gaming community with access to curated libraries and first and third party titles. So they failed to mention that they canceled a bunch of games and they killed a lot of people's jobs. Like they just fired a lot of people. I just feel like that's a spit in the face right there. Like, I'm just being honest. I know they're a company, they got to make money, but to celebrate making that much money after you literally laid off, I mean, it's the biggest mass exodus of gaming that I've ever seen and ever read about. They laid off so many employees, and for you to say in the same thing that we made all of this money, that's like pouring salt in the wound. Congratulations to you. I hope you're happy with yourself. There's a lot of people looking to try to find a job now because you fired them for no reason in the half-ass way that you did without even showing them any respect. That pisses me off, man. That's bullshit how they treated their former employees, and then they're just gonna rub this in their face. Congratulations. I guess it's easy to do that when you put the Xbox Game Pass on everything that has a fucking screen on it. I'm surprised it's not even in cars so that kids can freaking play games in the back seat. I'm surprised it's not even on the refrigerators, the Samsung refrigerators where you have to press the thing to see what's in the refrigerator because apparently people are too lazy to open the fucking door. I'm surprised it's not on the Apple Watch. I mean, it probably will end up being on the Apple Watch. I mean, who doesn't want to play, Battlefield on a freaking watch while you're on a treadmill? They hoard out the Xbox Game Pass to everything, so of course they're going to make a lot of money. Like, come on, man. It is what it is. So it looks like the ROG Xbox Ally X, the date has been leaked. Xbox upcoming handhelds have been making waves since the rumors. One key detail remained elusive until now. A report claims that the official release date of the ROG Ally X and the Ally is October 16th. How these things keep getting leaked is funny to me. Now, I'm going to see. Let's read down a little further. According to Deal Labs, the date applies that to the European market. It is unclear if other regions like the US will follow the same schedule, but it wouldn't be surprising. Xbox is expected to confirm the release date during the Gamescom showcase on August 20th, with pre-sales expected to open the very same day. The prices that were leaked are saying as such. If you're in US, the basic one, which is just the Ally, $649. For the X, which is like the Xbox Series X, $800, $799. $799. We'll get back to that in a second. If you're in Europe, it's 899 euros for the Ally X, and for the basic version, 599 euros. And I will repeat the same question that I always do. Are they out of their fucking minds? $800 for a handheld. Are they partaking in some type of drugs over there in the Microsoft headquarters? Not only did they just raise the prices of consoles that nobody buys, the Xbox Series X and S, that they've lost sales in. They increased the prices on that. $800. 800. That's rent. That's rent. Who in the blue hell is going to spend that money? Come on, man. Y'all going to have to come down on that. Like, come on. I mean, 600 is high enough for the basic one. It's not like they really offer that great of what we already have in PCs right now. I'm not going to read all of the specs, but I'm going to read some of the stuff that they have here. For the original Xbox Ally, like the basic model as they're calling it, the processor is an AMD Ryzen TM72A processor, which is pretty fast. It's in a lot of PCs right now. They have like the PC version, which is pretty good. The memory is 16 gigabytes. The storage is 512 gigabytes. The screen display is 7-inch Full HD 1080p. And it's 16.9. The refresh rate is 120 hertz. It has FreeSync Premium. It has cornering Gorilla Glass Victus, which is strong glass, so you don't have to worry about the screen breaking easily. It comes with a headphone jack, and it has a micro SD card slot, 2 USB 3.2 Gen Type-C chargers, and a display port, which I guess you can connect it up to a TV or PC. It comes with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and it also has a 65-watt charging stand. That's for the basic one. The differences in the Xbox Ally X one is the AMD Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme processor, which is much more powerful. Trust me when I tell you. It comes with 24 gigabytes. It comes with 1 terabyte of memory. The same screen, so it's still 7 inches, Full HD, 180p, 120 FPS. 120 hertz. Refresh rate, FreeSync Premium. So it has all the same things that the basic version has. It comes with 1 USB 4 Type-C with a display port, and it comes with a Thunderbolt 4 compatible, so you can use a Thunderbolt plug for that. It comes with a micro SD card slot reader, which is good. It also comes with a headphone jack. It's also Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So those are really the only differences. Now, after I read all of that to you, does that sound like it's worth $800? PC players out there who have things that are far more powerful than that, things in their PC that will blow this stuff away, that's not worth no $800. Even the basic model is not worth no $600. If they did something like, $450, something like that, $450 for the basic, $650 for the X, it would still be expensive, but I could work with that. I think that would be fair, but $800, I don't think so. I hope that changes, with the whole bullshit that they've been saying, keeping games around the $80 mark. Hopefully they do that with their consoles. So there's the details on that. If you're expecting it to come out, at least in Europe, we don't know when we're going to get it here in Canada and all the other places, but it has leaked. It said October 16th. Doesn't mean they can't change it. Because it leaked, they may change it. Who knows? But there you go. And that is it for my notes. Thank you to everyone that showed up for episode 7. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Head on over to all of these platforms, whichever ones you listen to: Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podchaser. I will upload this to YouTube. I just want to say this again if I didn't mention it on the last episode. From now on, because it makes it easier for me, these podcasts will no longer be streamed live. So this is a pre-recording just to let y'all know. That's the way it's going to be because it's easier for me. I can just concentrate here on just recording. I will have it out to the feed on everything that you see here. You guys take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see y'all next time.